Alright, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, Bashim Rakar HaKadosh. Double honors to the apostles of GMS and the sincere shalom to the brothers out here sincerely pushing this truth. And I want to get into another topic. Well, it's pretty much the same one as um, pretty much self-examination. I did one yesterday, but I felt like I should have done it. But basically, the spirit fell on me that it shouldn't take just one video to just do one self-examination. I feel the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shah that more could be pulled up, because it could be a constant reminder that we're still in this fleshy bodies. That always having to examine yourself is actually a perfect, is always a great example, really. So that you know that things ain't gonna always go smoothly, especially when this place goes down or when we catch hell. We already catching hell now, and we still struggle with things. That shows that we are still going to go through things. But even the biggest fight is with ourselves, really, because having to actually go through all this, and it's just one mess after another, it causes demons to catch on you, because it leaves a big wide opening, and you feel a certain way when you get when a brother rebukes you, and you feel like you didn't do nothing wrong, but he's actually helping get that demon off of you. But at the same time, that brother can't get all the demons off of you. You had to try to get some of those demons off of you yourself. Of course, regardless, we're always gonna have demons on us. It just, Lord willing, not a lot, to where it's, well, it even says that the Lord is not gonna give you too much that you can't handle, unless that, of course, that you're a 2/3. But like I said, we gotta even examine ourselves, because we know ourselves better than anyone else. Of course, through Yahweh Shem Yahshua, that he knows us. He knows everything about us. That goes without saying. But I'm actually starting off with this scripture right here, which is Romans 12:2. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And that going by the renewing of that mind is pretty much, well, of course, learning the truth, but learning the things of the truth. That you realize that the things you did back then is all worldly. So even some of the things that you still have on yourself is still worldly. Things on myself is still worldly. Whereas, of course, naturally by my spirit, I'm laid back. But worldly wise, I'm too laid back, because I don't take initiative, and that's something that I need to work on. There were certain accounts where I will just sit back in the camp and let brothers do their thing, and when the time opened up, I would step in and do it. Naturally, that's kind of like my spirit, anyways. But I need to, even myself, I need to pick up my pace to actually show that I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do this for Yahweh Shem Shah. I ain't trying to be in no lazy spirit. I may be laid back, but I gotta show, I gotta prove I got that fire as well. So, actually, I'm keep reading, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yahweh. And even with me trying to step up, they may be acceptable to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, because Yahweh Shem Yahushua needs those strong men that can take up the plate, take up that bear up their cross. But he, at the same time, if I balance it right, the Lord will have, like I said, the Lord keeps me in a laid back spirit where He could just say, "Hey, you're more, you have fire, but you more of a reasonable type to know when to do things and not to do things." But even like I said, I gotta work on my spirit to make sure I'm in the right spirit. Of course, not being lazy, because I back before I came into the truth, I was always lazy. Even now, I sometimes get lazy. That's one of the things I got to work on. I have improvements I need to do. I need to be more assertive. Really, I need to take things way more serious than I know it to be. Because it's one thing to know that this truth is serious, but I gotta. Of course, I feel this truth is more serious than anything, but I gotta push it like it's really serious. Some brothers some brothers have a lazy spirit and won't work on it. Some brothers some brothers have a real fiery spirit but go overboard with it. So as much as I'm trying to make this go on about what I need to do, it's more of a edification of what brothers or what brothers possibilities may be going through. And I find it more of a good topic to go into because it's one thing to make one video out of this, but it's another thing where you can actually keep responding on it to give brothers more ideas of how things actually can work different ways. Because not everything gonna work the same way. So basically, going back into the that you may prove what is good and acceptable and perfect in the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is rebuking yourself, or asking what I need to work on, or asking a brother what I need to work on, because that's be some things that you may not even see that a brother will pick out and say, hey, you may need to work on this, and if it's probably something that you can't work on, which is understandable because you can't work on everything, but you try to your best of your ability. Because you can't do everything perfect. We're still in this fleshy body. We still want to go through something. And if, let's say you do work on everything, you can slip right back into it. Especially if it catches you off guard. You may think, oh, I'm fine, nothing going to happen. But the Lord will bring that back down to say, hey, you're still going to mess up regardless. But it's not to say it's not to discourage a brother to say, oh, I'm just going to mess up all the time, so I'm just going to say screw it. No, we work to our best of our abilities. So I'm gonna keep reading. For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think. Now, there were a lot of accounts where brothers will feel, oh, I ain't doing nothing wrong, so I'm definitely I'm definitely one of the Lord's elect. Now, naturally, that would be a good thing to think of, but at the same time, it could be a bad thing because if you're not going through any tribulation, how can you really say that you're one of the Lord's elect? You could be pushing His work, you'd be probably doing everything right, but without any tribulation, how would you actually feel the Lord is actually testing you? How would you actually feel? How can you actually feel humble? Is a real question. Because if you're thinking that you're all this and nothing's going to happen to you, that means you had no humbleness. In the back of your mind, you always got to think, am I doing something wrong? Because I'm afraid that the Lord's going to do something that fuck me up. Or to test me on something that maybe that can really hit me. Which, in a lot of accounts, if you have that type of pride, the Lord's going to hit you with something that's really going to mess you up. So to be tested, especially if you're elect, Lord willing, if that the brothers are elect, then if you have that pride and and the Lord is dealing with you, He's gonna bunk that pride down, regardless. Of course, it goes with 2/3 too. If they have all that pride, they get bunked out by even getting kicked out. So, but in this truth, when you get bunked down to where you feel like utter shit, then you start realizing I ain't shit. Even now, if I ain't going through anything, I'ma still claim I ain't shit because the Lord can still do something to hit me heavy, and if I'm not doing right, He's gonna do something to fuck me up. So I gotta pray constantly. And sometimes it's not even a bad thing to pray that the Lord test you, because you gotta even praying to get yourself tested can actually make your faith stronger. Because wherever that faith you try to get tested in, you may not know what it is. You you may even try to detail what you want to get tested in. You may even give you something that you may not even expect. Let's say you want to get tested in a job, or let's say I want to get tested in being challenged. Well, He may give you tested where your family might turn against you, or your family might test you. Anything can happen. But those are those things that if you had that pride, you got to work on that pride, because that's a terrible thing to have. Unless it's a sincere pride under Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, where it's not full of arrogance, but like a sincere form of arrogancy for the Lord. Because you know, if the Spirit dwells well, which it does, and you don't have, like I said, if it dwells well to the point it's a sincere feeling, He's going to speak through you. Which, of course, through these words of His book, it comes right through us. Even proper edification comes through Him. When a brother gets on one of these 2/3, it's the same thing. Those are one of those things that we gotta recognize more than anything. That when it comes to even thinking about what the things you need to work on, that's Yahweh Shah give you the insight. Hey, this could be something very detrimental that could get me pretty much to be bugged out. That I need to work on this. It's always a wonderful thing to actually think about what you need to work on, because you may not know it. It's not hard to ask a brother what I need to work on, which is something I need to start doing. Well, I do it sometimes, but I need to start doing it more often. So I'm gonna keep reading. But to think soberly, which is pretty much what I was basically going into. According as Yahweh has dealt to every man the measure of faith. For as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office. And I looked up the definition of office, where it says a special duty, charge, or position conferred by an exercise of governmental authority. And who is our governmental authority? That would be Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, because we're that body. But notice how we all don't do the same thing. Sure, everybody can try to can pretty much speak or read, but everybody has a different gift. That different gift is our office. One brother may have the gift of history. The other brother might have the gift of really well speaking more than anybody else, or really good or very good edification or precepting. It can be anything. That's why we all may do something better than somebody else. That's why we don't all have the same office. That's what makes us so very much unique. The fact that we can all do these different things and still make it into one big thing. Whereas we work as the body. The body doesn't all just do all the same thing. It has different parts it does. Whereas all those different parts can join together and make the body work properly. If that body's not working together, if the parts ain't working together in the body, then it's all messed up. Your leg is trying to go one way, and the other leg is trying to go this way, while you're trying to go the other way, and then it's all confused. But if we work with those gifts that are honed, and it works together, then the body works properly, which is a great thing. So even when it comes to actually working on yourself, that is part of working with the body. Because let's say a brother may be doing something, and you just finished working on that same problem that you just did. Well, you can help that brother out by by actually helping go like pretty much giving them tips on how to actually work on that problem, because you got through it, and that brother may not be able to get through it, but you can help him. At least try to the best of your ability. That's part of being the body. It all works the same way. But that's pretty much my take on it. So I just want to say shalom and death to this wicked society.